Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Plays Games. I'm your host, Lauren, and on my show, I have a chat with women of many different roles within the games industry, some of which don't always get their time in the spotlight. Through this podcast, my goal is to give visibility to the many women who have already had successful careers in the video games industry with the hope of making women around the world realize there's a place for them too. Now, this show wouldn't be where it is without support, and I'd like to thank Jean Leggett, Lucas, Priscilla, and Matthias Diamantino for being Patreon supporters. If you'd like to support this show on Patreon, please head to patreon.com/sheplaysgames for more information. Now, for today's episode, I have the lovely Dhayana Senna on the show. Dhayana is a marketing manager at Funimation and Madman Anime Group. She is also the founder of Women of Xbox and is heavily involved with promoting women in the games industry and providing safe spaces for women to come together and support each other. We discuss her journey into games as well as her role in the industry and the Women of Xbox community she's been building over the last few years. This is episode 56 of She Plays Games. Hi, Dhayana. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a long time coming, but it's just the nature of everything, right? Like, I mean, time zones particularly is quite
Mhm.
complicated.
Especially when you're down the bottom of the world, yes.
Yeah, I know, but it is amazing though. I've always wanted to visit Australia. So I just kind of want to know, like, right off the bat, like, what is the games industry sort of like in Australia?
Well, it's actually a very big part of the economy here now. We actually have the government investing a lot of money into game dev, especially here in Melbourne. So, where I am, I'm in Melbourne, we have a massive gaming development community. So, we have PAX Australia here, for example, and that's tied into Melbourne Games International Week, where you've got all your game devs kind of putting on their different shows to showcase their games. There are communities teaching young girls how to code. And, there's just this really nice community feel, but it's also showcasing games being developed here, but showcased on the global scale. So it's very much a young scene, but also very recognized worldwide as well. So yeah, it's nice having games be cool. It's something
Yeah.
that people can actually value and get into career-wise down here.
I think it makes all the difference, especially when the government actually like recognizes that it's a legitimate avenue to go into as far as
Mm.
careers. Like I don't know, it's such a shame because like you'd feel like, oh, I can do this. I'm a rogue. I'm gonna do this on my own. It's gonna be fine. But like it does actually make it feel more legitimate, I think, when the government is involved. Do you feel that way too?
I think so. Just even this year, you see, like I've seen a lot more mainstream journalists actually talking about games a lot
Mm.
more, and more specifically actually women in games as well, which is just completely bizarre because like last year and even 10 years ago, like games was more, just something you do for fun. It's something that boys do. It's bad for you because it's, addicting and all sorts. But now it's actually being spoken to and spoken about in a very positive light, which is really nice. And I think that it's starting to change the way Australians think about video games.
Mm. Do you feel like it's quite progressive in Australia, like, anyway? Like, what is it? Because I know over here, we do deal still with a lot of stigma about video
Mm,
games. I mean, I have it all the time with, like, parents and stuff who I start
mm.
talking about games, and it's just like I'm speaking a foreign language, and I'm, from Mars, and I feel like there's really a big separation between certain classes and certain people when it comes to games.
Yeah, I think it's the same here, unfortunately, as well. I mean, Australia is very, very large. And so you do
Mm.
have that disparity of, yes, whilst, more mainstream media talking about it and the government's wanting to invest in it, the general population is still very unsure about
Yeah.
games? Is it really going to make someone successful? Is it going to pay the bills, for example? Is it just a waste of time?
And it's just like, do they like, it's such a shame because you see like these esports competitions where it's just like they're making like millions of like money,
Mhm.
and yet no, you can't have a career in games at all. It's just not feasible. But yeah, I mean, so for you, you have a lot of different sort of roles that you're a part of, a lot of different organizations that you're a part of. But I think it's fair to say that marketing manager is like sort of your main role. And there's often like quite a broad set of responsibilities that come with marketing. People
Mhm.
like to throw everything at you. Some people say it's strictly PR. Some say it also includes community and social media. How do you define the responsibilities of a marketing manager at Funimation and Madman Anime Group?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's just so broad because I'm very much a marketing manager by title, but a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Like, I do everything, I sit from planning a strategy and a campaign and deciding what all goes into the campaign to briefing in like our designers and the creative team to tell them what I want, when I want it, what all it needs to look like. So I'm effectively the mind behind a design as well, which for the life of me, I can't do design at all. I'm terrible at that
Yeah,
sort of
I
thing.
know.
So I keep, it's the kind of thing where I'm like asking the designers to do something, and I have all these silly ideas, and they're just like, I'll come back to you on that. Back to dealing with licenses. So at Funimation, we work with anime, and so anime is very much owned by licenses in Japan. And obviously,
Mm,
there are certain nuances and the way that they do things that are very different to the Western world. And so, there's having to go through all those steps to make sure that you are aligned with what you're presenting a particular anime like to the public. It's a lot of crisis management, it's a lot of PR, it's a lot of general publicity, it's dealing with influencers, it's keeping an eye out on social media for any great big outcry
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure that nothing's gone wrong. It's very much a, how do I put this? It feels like it's multiple jobs in one. So
Yeah,
it's not just marketing, and I wish it was just marketing sometimes.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
marketing has never really been defined very well as well, I believe, since I've started working in it, because there's organic marketing where you're just using your own content and you're driving your own conversations and trying to get interactions with people through social or through newsletters and things like that. But you also have your paid marketing and paid campaigns, and you're working with Facebook to pay them God knows how much money to
Mm,
advertise. And then it's briefing in agencies to put up billboards on the side of the road. So it's really a multifaceted role that I think a lot of people don't really appreciate enough.
mm.
Um, I, for one, feel very undervalued sometimes at what I do, but I just do it because I love the work and I love what I'm doing
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So it can be a very thankless job, which I'm very sure a lot of other marketing professionals will feel. But
Mm.
it's also very rewarding when you see that final result and you're like, I did all of this to bring this to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you're just like the one on the side of the road just being like, "I did it. I'm done."
You're like that soccer mom. It's like, oh my
I
gosh,
know,
you
I
did
know, I know, with the coffee cup,
it.
like the gallon coffee cup. But
Oh no, it's
no,
very
no.
real.
Yeah.
Coffee cup first thing in the morning, last thing at night.
Yeah, completely. And I definitely think like, yeah, I think a lot of people really feel when you post something on social media, it's just so simple because not a lot of people I think about how much goes into creating like social media posts that reflect both the Twitter crowd, but then the LinkedIn crowd, but then
Yeah.
this crowd over here and this crowd over there. And like the creativity side of it, like it just feels like it takes ages to come together with stuff. So Yeah, no, thank you to all of the like, it's not an easy job, and I think
Yeah.
burnout is quite
Mm,
apparent in marketing roles as well.
very
Do you
much
feel
so.
that? Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm burnt out already.
Oh, bless you. Yeah.
We're actually experiencing like the biggest crunch time at this point
Mm,
in time. So I think it's really important to have a team,
mm.
a really good team. And that's one thing that a lot of good organizations have when they have marketing roles is you don't just hire one person, you hire an entire team who work collaboratively to make sure every area is covered. Because at this point in time, right now, with my role here in Australia, I'm one of two people doing all the different things that I need to do and work on. And
Yeah.
sometimes that can be very hard because I'm the only dedicated marketing person. My counterpart is more the brand manager and product
Yeah.
manager. So he's managing everything else. And it can get very, very stressful. But
Mm.
I also think in this climate, we have to be very appreciative of the fact that we have a job and we do have
Yeah,
things to
it's true.
do.
It's true. But I
Mm.
do think, yeah, I think it is definitely something that needs to be it needs to start getting clearly defined
Yeah.
within particularly the games industry since
Mm.
yeah, yeah, it definitely needs some clarification in order to save
Yeah.
our sanity. So when did
Exactly.
you decide that like marketing was for you?
I actually fell into marketing. I didn't ever want to be in marketing, to be very honest with you. I actually have a law degree and I'm actually a lawyer from New Zealand who ended up doing PR. So PR specifically was where I wanted to get into and grow my career. But straight out of uni, I'd had one job as a PI account executive for a technology brand. And then I ended up having a series of redundancies at
Oh,
such a young
bless you.
age.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell into marketing because it was the only job that was open to hiring new people at the time. And I was living in New Zealand at the time, where it's a very small country of only 5 million people. So there's
Mm,
not a lot of opportunities, especially with long term career prospects.
mhm.
So I don't know. It's one of those things where, you try so many different things and then you just end up somewhere and that becomes your new thing. And that's pretty much my story, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like that survival aspect of the career where you just
Mm,
sort of feel like, "I have to make this decision and I have to make this move because otherwise I'll be jobless." Like, it's just,
yeah.
it's just
Mhm.
ridiculous. But yeah, I think that that does really ring true though about, like, location and that type of thing as well, which is so sad because, like, I mean, I feel like remote has really helped in some ways, but it's still not quite reaching the areas that it needs to still, right?
Mm. Yeah, I think so. I mean, even now with like, for example, here we've been working from home, or rather Mad Men in Australia, we've been working from home for 18 months. And it's
Mm,
worked really fine because, we've managed to hit all our targets. We've managed to put films into cinemas and all sorts. But there's that hesitancy with long term working from home.
yeah,
I think there's that cultural, nuance of you have to be in an office, you have to see each other. And I think it comes from maybe having the older generation sitting in leadership where, they haven't been acclimatized to being always on the internet and communicating at all kinds of hours and things like that. So I'd be interested to see how things go in like 20 years' time because who
yeah.
knows? Offices may be a thing of the past.
Yeah, completely. I mean, like, maybe it's time to have, like, the quintessential younger person on, like, a, team and in companies to just sort of be like, "Nah, no, that's not how young people, behave, sorry."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's
the
keeping up with the
official.
times, right?
Yeah. It's like the younger people official who's just like, "Nah, that's not how it works, mate, sorry."
Just walks in with like shorts and a, blazer, no tie, skateboard in hand.
Yeah, a man bun,
Oh gosh, yeah.
like all that is perfect. Yeah, that is just the it's like Tom Hanks in
Mm,
Big, where it's just that quintessential young spirit that just
yeah.
comes in to just call them out and say, "No, that's not how it is." I think that would be perfect.
I think it would.
Um,
I think we'd all be happier, to be honest.
yeah. See? So, everybody just hop on this train with me right now because I think that this sounds incredible. But with your role as well, like, there's a lot of stuff that obviously we use when doing, marketing to sort of keep everything in order, schedule things out. So I just wondered, like, what were some of your favorite tools to use?
I'm actually a pen and paper girl still.
Oh, I do
I mean,
too.
I do use, like, Trello, and we obviously communicate via Slack. We have a lot of, calendar planners and things like that to help manage our time, but that pen and paper is still holds a special place in my heart, and it's the one thing that gets me on track every single
Mm.
day. Just writing things down and then crossing it right off, it just gives you that sense of satisfaction.
Oh my gosh, completely.
Mm.
And I think you can be cuter with your writing down as well. I
I've
don't
got
know.
doctor's handwriting now because I'm just
Oh, really?
constantly writing.
Oh, I love it. I have been thinking about taking because I know some journalists who've learned how to do the shorthand,
Oh, okay.
and I've been so tempted to learn shorthand for that reason, just so that I can just, keep writing 'cause, that is the issue when somebody's speaking to you and you just can't quite keep up with them writing wise.
I'm pretty sure I've invented my own shorthand because I
Yeah.
can't read my writing sometimes. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, I know what that is."
I know exactly what that means completely. But no, I feel like you get it into your head. Like a lot of people
Mm,
get it. Well, I mean, everybody's different, right? But
mhm,
for writing, there's that extra level of letting it soak into your brain
mm.
that I
I think
feel
it's
like computers
probably
can't.
because of that mental connection with, your fingers. You're having to actually
Yeah.
write it out and spell it out rather than just type something into a computer and have the computer remember it for you.
Yeah.
So it's already programmed into your mind, and then you remember it even more because "Oh, I need to do it," and then cross it off
Yeah, yeah,
rather than
yeah.
just hit the delete button and it's gone.
Exactly, and then that accidental delete button. That's the thing, like, with writing, I mean, unless you physically throw it out, which does happen on occasion, there's not a lot of accidental
Mm,
deleting, which is
no.
nice. There's just
Yeah.
losing, but there's not accidental deleting. It's still
No.
there.
That's quite nice actually to see, like, the transition over the years as well. If you manage to have the same notebook
Yeah.
over the course of the year, like, I know with my role here, I started it in February last year, and I
Mm.
have this massive notebook that I still have where right on my first day, you can see my writing's absolutely perfectly neat, and it's tidy, and it's just so
Yeah.
nice, and then at the end of the book, it's just scribbles.
Should, like, just title it "The Evolution of Diana as a Marketing Person." Right?
Maybe they'll I might put, like, an exhibit one day when we're allowed out and just have, like, all the different pages
It
on.
could be a gallery. Here is the marketing manager, a tale in
There might
images.
be doodles in there too for when I'm sitting in, like, really long meetings. I'm just,
Yeah,
like, doodling.
yeah,
I hope
completely.
no one
Oh.
from work is listening to this.
Yeah, they're gonna be on that right now. But yeah, I mean, aside from your day job, you're also a founder of of Xbox. Can you talk a bit about, like, how this community came to be and what someone could expect joining the group?
So I started it, to be honest, back in 2018. I was teaching young kids how to play games on an Xbox and teaching them how to play
Oh.
collaboratively at a after school program. And one of the things that really it had been sitting in me for a while, that whole concept of girls not being able to play games or not feeling like they can play games because it's more of a boys thing. And I was seeing a lot of women hide their voices online. Like I'd play games on party chat and I'll listen to girls talk. And then as soon as a boy jumps on, they'll be like, okay,
Oh
I'm
my
turning off
gosh.
now. And I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
I started having conversations with a lot of girls and a lot of women about why that is. I'm very curious about how people do things and why they do things. And so to me, it was something very new because I'd never done that. I'd never turned my voice off or used a voice changer or anything like that. I was just quite happy if I was going to get abused, I'd get abused, whatever. But
Mm.
when I was teaching in that after school program specifically, there was a moment when a girl came in with her brother and her mum, and the boy just ran in. And the mum was like, "Oh, do you know if you have girls here and will it be okay for my daughter to join?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, that's fine. Everyone's welcome." But the girl didn't want to join her brother because she didn't see any girls, and she just looked around the room, and like my heart sank. I
Oh,
still tell the story every time when people ask me
yeah.
about women of Xbox, and I still get so precious about it because it's just that look in her face still haunts me because it was just so heartbreaking where she, like it was just so evident she wanted to be there, but she didn't feel like she could because no other girls were there. And so that's when I realized, like, this is something that's really important for young girls.
Mm,
And I was very invested into Xbox and what they were doing with like their diversity push and, gaming is for everyone. And so because I'm an Xbox gamer as well, finding other women was a lot easier on Xbox. And so I thought,
mm,
okay, there's no real community helping these women get to know one another and helping bring them together in a supportive way. A lot of these girls and young women were playing games online, having to hide themselves. And I figured, well, if they were being put in a community with other women, hopefully they can feel more comfortable to just be themselves. And so that's why I started Women of Xbox, just to kind of have a safe and welcoming community for women specifically, just so that they can feel empowered to just be themselves and do what they love doing. And I'm
mm,
very vocal about that kind of thing. I'm very passionate, really, about enabling people to do what they love because I do what I love, and I'm very lucky to be able to do that. And I'd like to help foster that in other people because it's not as difficult as people may think it is.
mm.
So yeah, it's been a really nice journey. I mean, it's been around for 3 years, and it's kind of taking a lot of baby steps because the one thing I found is that women don't like talking
Mm,
online, even with other women. And so
yeah.
I'm trying to kind of break that mold and trying to find ways to encourage them to talk to one another. For example, like recently, it's not gaming related, but I just started spamming everyone in the Discord about Squid Game because everyone's talking about
Oh
Squid
my
Game.
gosh,
And now
yeah.
everyone's talking about it. And it's like, see, it's fine
Yeah.
to talk to each other.
It's
um,
good.
yeah, and the thing is that I'm trying to get more women to join, and obviously it's a very closed community right now because I want to ensure that safety. I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to come in who's just going to disrupt the balance that we have currently, and so I'm not actively posting like Discord links or anything like that. If someone is keen to join, they have to go through like myself or the community manager just to have us interview them in a way, just to make
Yeah.
sure that they are there for the right reasons. And also, we have a lot of men liking and following the Twitter account, which
Mm.
is really bizarre because I will ask questions that I'll specifically say, "Hey, ladies, what do you think about
Yeah.
this?" And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
all
yeah.
the men will reply, and I'm like, that
Thanks.
defeats the purpose, but
I
okay.
know. I know, but it is strange, like, isn't it? It's
Mm,
really bizarre how we don't feel like I've always been quite confident in
mm,
my love of games, and I've always, like, almost kind of wore it as a badge of honor that I was a girl gamer. This is back in my youth when I was, happy about being a unicorn, like, it was that
yeah,
thing where I found empowerment by it, and I
mm,
know I like, growing up now and being more connected with other people, like,
mm,
I realized it then that it ostracized me from a lot of other women, which was a shame because, like, I
mm,
wanted friends and I just didn't have friends because they weren't interested in gaming, which was such a big part of my life, well, gaming and film.
mhm,
But yeah, it is just yeah, that level of
mm,
connectivity and helping helping reverse the damage that had been done of women not feeling okay to have their interests because of some kind of societal pressure. It is really sad, but I see it with my girls, like, Allie is has always been in love with games. We've always been welcoming with games with her, and she's played like a variety of things. At the moment she's watching my husband play through Chrono Trigger, but quite
Mhm.
loves Kirby and all the stuff on her Switch and Bug Snacks on the PlayStation and stuff. When we bring over another girl, like the girls are always so curious about games.
Mm.
And I know that they're probably not I know at home they don't have access to games normally other than maybe like
Mm.
Roblox. And but they are so connected to it.
Mm.
They see why it's good. But it's
Yeah.
just like it's just so hard to try and convince other parents that it's
Mm.
okay for everyone, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've been involved in recently is I was tagged in this post by a father who mentioned that he had a 12-year-old girl who didn't believe that she could ever get into games because she didn't enjoy the girly games or the games for
Mm,
girls. And someone tagged me in, and I was like, I'm a gamer. I don't play those girly games. I play everything. Like I shoot
yeah.
zombies and
Yeah.
do all the things the boys do. And I've been successful in that in a way. And so he kind of reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you mind speaking to my little girl? She's just, a bit unsure, but I want to get her into gaming." And I was like, "Oh, that's fine. Happy to chat." And then he started messaging me every day going, "Oh my gosh, she has watched like your streams and she's gone to your website and she's reading
Oh.
all these things and she's so interested in all the things you do and she's now really open to, playing these other games, but she's embracing it more because she's seen that there
Mm,
are women who are, not your young teenage girls or young adolescent slash college age student. It's like, I'm in my 30s. I'm
yeah.
here doing this in a very male dominated industry. And
Mm,
so that's so powerful. And I think my end game with Women of Xbox is being able to do that for, the next generation of gamers, which are young girls.
yeah. No, no, I mean, that is the message of She Plays Games as well, so it's
Mhm.
yeah, like, I completely behind that 100%, and,
Mhm.
so since sort of starting Women of Xbox, do you have any sort of, like, favorite moments that you've had so far?
It's been kind of interesting because I think we're all still finding our feet in the
Mm,
community, myself included, even though I started it.
yeah, no,
I'm
I
still
can see
trying
that.
to feel everyone out and see what everyone's interested in. I think for me, just this period now, seeing everyone talk about Squid Game, even though it's not really Xbox related, but it's just something that's brought us all so close together. And just having people from all over the world talking about something that connects us all in a very passionate way is so uplifting.
Yeah,
Like I go into the Discord and I'm fairly busy most of the time. So when I do
yeah.
go into the Discord and I see like everyone's engaging and they're talking about things or they're discussing the latest Xbox release or even the latest Xbox controller because Xbox comes out with some really cool designs.
Oh
It's
my
just
gosh,
so
yeah.
nice to see that. And we've got some really interesting content creators as well in there who do some really amazing photography. And it just, you sit there and you look at it, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that there are such talented women in this community.
Yeah,
I'm in awe of them. I want to help foster them and help build them up. And I think it's not really one specific memory, it's just all these little moments that kind of
yeah.
add up and just makes you feel so warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, no, I completely see that, but it is also hilarious to think that a Korean show about playing childhood games and death is something
Yes.
that brings us all together. But it's so true, though.
You
It's so
never know
good.
what brings
You
people
never
together.
Yeah, like, this is what it takes, everyone. It's a show, and it's a brilliant show, but yeah, no, 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 I think that that's beautiful and completely relevant and fantastic. So, I mean, when you were starting out, another one of your projects was Attack on Geek, which you did a lot of like written content for news post reviews and that type of thing. How do you feel this helped you to grow as an industry professional?
Um, I mean, that was my first foray into games, to be very honest. It started off as a personal venting blog, just so I could vent about vent about bad movies and
Yeah,
bad video games
just get
and
it out.
no one wanted to talk to me about the things I enjoyed. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just put it online and someone will identify with it. And
Yeah.
so, that's really how I got involved in this space. I essentially started it as a personal blog and kind of built it out into a proper publication or an online publication. And I think transitioning that into becoming a content creator, into doing community events and just almost making it into this multi-platform brand has helped me not only do so many different things in the industry, but it's also helped me grow in the various different areas as well. So, like for example, I was writing a lot of reviews for Attack on Geek, and then I ended up writing a lot of reviews and opinion pieces for other outlets. And with the streaming, I've come to a stage now where I've done so much in terms of content that now I'm helping the younger content creators just help build them up and teaching them about being an influencer and not getting taken advantage of, sorry.
Yeah.
And just kind of putting back into the community what I got out of it, so to speak. And I think that's something that I will always hold very dear to me because all of this started from this one little tiny blog where I complained
Aw.
about Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but that's amazing though. I mean, it is funny how so many of us have come from things like that. I mean, I used to I was on a gaming review website when
Mhm.
I first started, but yeah, it was kind of like your first stage to like finding like-minded people. I
Mm.
know it's like it's evolved quite a bit since then, like, there's so many different places where you can vent, and actually make money from venting, which is fab, but no, it's really fascinating,
Mm.
especially for sort of our generation, all of us sort of starting out with things like that, with websites and reviews and all that jazz. So, yeah, no, I'm right there with you with complaining about Fantastic Four. Ah,
I'm so glad I'm not alone.
I
I
know.
absolutely hated that movie.
I know. No. That was an interesting time, especially for Chris Ep yeah. But going all the way back though, so when, you first moved over to this industry, like you said before, you were a lawyer to start with, and you were studying to be a lawyer. What inspired you to make that big change?
I think I knew from very early on, a little bit of fun fact, which I don't think anyone else knows, but when
Ooh.
I was a young, like very young girl, maybe like 7, 8, I told my mom I wanted to be an actress because I really loved TV shows and I could just memorize every dialogue that I was watching Charmed at the time, I think. So I just memorized
Oh,
everything. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I really like to connect with people and I really like acting things out. And I was writing. Oh no, I wasn't writing just yet. That was too young. I was interested in writing. And then I sort of transitioned into writing fan fiction when I was about 12, 13. And I remember my mom saying, like, you'll never earn money out of being an actor. And besides, we were living in Malaysia at the time, so it's an Asian
Mm,
country. Acting, entertainment, all of that thing just wasn't big in that area at that time. And I'm not classified as one of the like main races in
mm.
that country. And so it was like, well, you're, you know, all the way down here, you're gonna struggle, it's gonna be
Yeah.
hard. And so immediately it was like, "Oh, okay, well, I can never do anything in entertainment. Great, cross that out." So, I kind of I felt like I had a duty to do what was going to make me successful because I'm also the eldest child. And so I have to look after my parents, have to, that whole Asian thing of providing for everyone.
Yeah.
And so I think from a young age, that was just very much behind in the back of my mind, sorry. And when I finally got up to uni, I actually did my first year of medical school first before going into law because again, I was
Wow.
like, I need to do something
Yeah.
great. And at that point
Something
in time,
safe. Yeah.
safe, and also it's like in Asia, being a doctor is like the creme de la creme of professions.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it's not all that glamorous.
Yeah.
Um, so I tried my hand at that and realized I really didn't like science, and so the next best thing was law. My whole family are lawyers. I come from a family of lawyers, and so it was like, okay, well, at least uni will be easy because they can help me. So I kind of went down that path, and then I realized I absolutely hated the idea of going to court or, doing really weird, boring things like writing legislation and all of that stuff. And it was like, oh, that's not creative. And I'm a very creative person. And so, one of the good things about university in New Zealand is they allow you to do your core papers, but then also allow you like electives. So, I did media studies and communications. And that's when it clicked. Like, I didn't have to put a lot of effort into those papers, but I'd get straight A's. And that's when I realized, like, okay, clearly there's something there that I'm not doing or I'm not fostering. And then just kind of looking at all of that and where my interests lied, I realized, like, you know what, I really want to get into PR and communications because I love people and I love the psychology of the mind and how people think. And so I think that's where that turning point happened, where I was like, okay, I've ticked the box. I'm a lawyer now. Now I'm going to
Yeah, yeah.
actually go and do like a post grad, do PR, and then I ended up in marketing.
Yeah. But it's so fascinating as well. Like I I kind of went the similar route. However, I did go to university for theater, and then when it came time for graduation, I was just kind of like, crap, now I actually have to do acting as a career. Let me just put my tail between my legs and go for something that is like I know will be secure, I think is the
Mhm.
thing. Yeah, maybe not
Yeah.
safe because it's not and, like, it's so stressful to be
Mm.
a lawyer, a doctor, and that type of thing. Like, I just was
Mm.
thinking something that's gonna give me a 9 to 5 job that I can do and I know I'll make a living doing. And
Yeah.
it is such a shame because you just think like, "Oh, I I think not doing something that suits you
Mm.
is just such a struggle that I don't think everybody I it's really hard to understand, like, yes, it's completely competitive to be an
Mm.
actress and even on a weird way, marketing as well. Like,
Mm.
there's such a small pool of
Mm.
jobs and roles, but it's like but you know when it's wrong, don't you? You
Mm.
know when it's not working, and,
Yeah.
like, it's so important to not get stuck with a career just because of security as
Mm.
much as it's like, there is still a place for, if you need the security, if that's what drives you and you can get through it,
Mm.
good on you. But like, I definitely feel the same in that I need something creative in order to
Mm.
keep me going.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing for me is maybe, I mean, for all their telling me, oh, I need a stable job, I need to be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, my parents were also very open about enjoying what you do,
Mm.
because like my dad used to say to me all the time, if you live for work, you're going to be unhappy for the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
so I think I internalized that from a very young age, and I realized I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to make bare minimum to pay my bills as long as I can, well, a couple of things, leave this world in a better state than I came into it,
Mm.
and not have any regrets whatsoever and look back thinking, oh God, what if?
Yeah.
I do. Till today,
Yeah.
I do have that because we all do. But I've managed to do so many things that I can look back on and be like, wow, I did that. That's bizarre that I had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Had I not done that, I don't think I would feel very satisfied with my life. And I think that's so important for young people, especially who are kind of sitting there thinking, oh, what should I do with my future? It's no one knows what they want to do
Yeah.
at 20, at 30, at 40. I don't think you ever really know what's that one thing you want to do because it's ever changing.
Mm.
Like, I mean, I thought I wanted to do marketing and PR, or not marketing per se, but PR and working, in entertainment. But now I realize actually, no, I actually quite prefer education and working with kids and all this advocacy that I'm doing. So it's a very fluid thing. And I think it's so detrimental to just lock yourself into that one specific career.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree, completely agree. And then aside from Women of Xbox, you're also a Women in Games ambassador. I mean, what has being an ambassador meant to you, and why should someone else consider joining?
To be very honest, it's very recent that I became an ambassador. So I haven't done too much yet in my position as an ambassador. But the reason why I wanted to be an ambassador is because, you know, that diversity and inclusivity in not just games, but in every area of life is so important to me. I think that I don't know. My mom likes to think that I was a social justice warrior in my past life, and that's why I'm always so like, no, this is not fair to this people or that person or this kind of community. I am very much all about equality and that everyone's equal with the right opportunities. Everyone can be the same, and I. I don't know. I just feel like that, women have been historically put down consistently in many industries. And I think that that's so detrimental to society because we have so much to offer.
Mhm,
We are very different in the way we think to men. So therefore, we might have different ways of seeing things, like in leadership, for example, who's making those decisions. If it's all men, you're going to get just one outcome. But if you have a diverse range of people, it's going to be a more collaborative way of working. There are more ideas generated, and it's going to be a lot more comprehensive than just going, yes, let's just do this one thing. So I
mm,
see the world in that kind of way, which might be weird to some, but I look at the bigger picture. And I think that's why I wanted to be an ambassador, because the bigger picture is women being able to do what they love, being able to contribute in a meaningful way. And I would like to be a part of helping that happen. I don't see myself as someone who can make change, but if I can contribute just a little bit, then, that's me happy. Like I said
yeah.
earlier, if I can leave the world in a better state than it was when I came in, I'd feel like, at least I lived a reasonably satisfying life.
Yeah, well, as you said, even in this chat, like the people who you've given a community to, the little girl, the dad who you've helped
Mhm.
with his little girl, the little girl who went to the class that you did, the course that you did, like,
Yeah.
all these people have been affected by you, and that's amazing. And I think, yeah, like it is important, and it's hard because, like, you know, any type of change is meaningful,
Mm.
like any person's life that you affect is meaningful. And,
Yeah.
we might not be the Michael Jackson where we affect like billions of people all over the
Mm.
world, but that's okay
Yeah.
because, it doesn't, it's okay.
Mm.
We're only we're only we're only who we are, and that's okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, and to close us out, I just wondered, do you have, like, a proudest moment of your career so far?
Hmm. Proudest moment. It's hard to say because I'm very hard on myself.
Oh, same. Self-deprecation is my life.
Yeah, exactly. It's really hard for me to appreciate anything I've done for myself, or
Mm.
anything that I've done that I can. Yeah, no, it's just really it's I don't know. I just get really uncomfortable talking about myself in a positive light.
Oh, bless you.
It's not so much well, I guess maybe because I see it as it's not about me.
Mm.
It's about, like I said, the bigger picture, the collective is everyone happy? And so I think if I had to answer like what is my proudest moment, it would be when my community is happy. You know, when I
Mm.
host the community get-togethers. Like back in New Zealand, we hosted a Xbox community meetup, and we had people of all ages with their kids, their partners, just
Oh,
everyone we never met in real life just showed up. We had pizza and we played games, and everyone was connecting and bringing people together who don't normally get to meet each other. I don't know why, but it just makes me feel really happy. And
yeah.
so I think that sort of thing is my proudest moment, is just seeing someone else be happy and knowing that I played a very small part in that. And
Mm.
that, you know, that's something that I can contribute, regardless of how much I have to work in the background to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But you know, it's just nice. Just knowing that I've impacted one person for the better makes me proud and also very
To those marketing manager soccer moms
happy.
all
Yeah.
across the world, slash community leaders, slash social media managers, slash everything. This
Yeah,
needs to go on a shirt somewhere.
I think when people ask me, "What do you do?" I just go, "I do everything."
Yeah, I am
I
all.
don't think there's anything I don't do.
I know, I know. But I think in a way, like as well, it is good because I feel like we've experienced enough in order to make a grayer picture of the world. Like, I know, like, when I've spoken to my therapist and stuff, she sort of said it's nice because I see the gray instead of the, like, this is the way it should be, black and white, and
Mm,
that type of thing. And I think people like us are very important because, you know, not we realize that not everybody is from cut from the same cloth, and
mm,
but we know that everybody deserves the life that they want. So, no, I think it's yeah, yeah. Let's all be the video games industry soccer moms, but come up with a different name than soccer moms. We have to think about that. But
gaming mom? No, gaming moms
yeah.
would be too on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a think. We'll have a think. But
We'll get
ultimately
flags.
yeah, flags as well. Oh, and mugs as well,
Mhm.
tumblers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
this is gonna be a
yes.
whole thing. This is gonna be a whole thing. Watch out,
Mm.
everyone, for the kickstart from Diana and I about this. But yeah,
I think
no,
it'll
I
sell
think
really well.
I think so too. I think so too. I know enough marketing people especially
Mhm.
who we're all just really yeah, we're all just really doing a lot. And yeah, it's a tough gig. It's a really tough
Mm.
gig.
It is,
Um,
but,
but
you
it's
know, at the end of the
rewarding.
day, yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly,
good.
and I think that's the most important takeaway from it is if you're not doing it for the right reasons, then you're not in the right position or field
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Exactly. Oh, well, thank you so much, Diana. I'm so glad that we finally got to do this together.
No, thank you
And
so much for making the time. It was actually such a nice, relaxing chat on
oh,
a
thank you.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, and Wednesday morning for me, which is
I
just
know,
so
happy time
bizarre.
zones.
I know, happy time zones. But yes, thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much again to Diana for coming on the show. If you want more from Diana, please be sure to follow her at Miss Deus Geek. Also, if you want more episodes of She Plays Games, please be sure to subscribe and follow me on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube by searching She Plays Games, and on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at She Plays Podcast. If you want to be on the show or want to nominate someone to come on the show, you can email me at sheplayspodcast@gmail.com. See you all next time on She Plays Games.